With Canada's RCIP Pilot program, you can directly file for PR. You heard that right. You do not need to wait for any draws and can directly apply for your PR. And even more interesting part is that you do not need any work experience for most cases. Can you believe I am saying this in 2025? Yes, you do not need work experience too. There is one more program launched with same privileges called FCIP, but in this video we will talk all about the RCIP pilot program. And obviously it's not for everyone. I mean, yes, it is for all the NOC codes, but not everyone will be interested because to get your PR under this pilot program, you have to live in the smaller communities of Canada. You know, I have waited enough to hear all the questions related to this program over the internet, and I promise you will get everything you need to know about this pilot program on this channel and all the RCIP details in this fully packed video if you'll stick till the end. So let's get started. Hey guys, if you are new, my name is Raj and I have helped hundreds of people getting their permanent residence in last few years. If you are in your PR journey, you can check out my channel. In this video, we will go through the details of RCIP program, eligibility of the RCIP program, employer's requirement, and final steps to apply for PR. And trust me, it's easier than you think. Let's talk more about RCIP. RCIP program is launched by IRCC in early 2025, and as the name suggests, it's a pilot program. Now I know they promised to make a permanent program after removing the earlier RNIP program, but that's not the reality as of now. RCIP program is designed for people who have either studied or living in the rural communities of Canada. Currently, there are 14 communities who have shown their interest in participating for the RCIP program to the IRCC. Now understand that when I say rural communities, it's the Census Metropolitan Area or CMA and not just a town. So make sure to check for all the towns within the listed communities. Now you might ask why the government is doing this. As you heard, I said the communities have shown interest, which means that the programs are not driven by IRCC but the rural communities. Even though there is immigration phobia running in the country, these rural communities are still facing a shortage of workers and they are looking for people who would want to settle in those communities. And under this program, they are ready to sponsor those candidates for direct PR filing. Interestingly, you don't even need to be already residing in the community to be eligible for this pilot program. You can come from anywhere in the world. But this program is not for everyone, and you will have to meet the eligibility requirements. Though they are not very hard, but you need to meet all the requirements to apply. To be eligible, basically you need a job offer from a designated employer in the community, work experience of at least 1 year if you are living or working outside the community or outside Canada. You should have taken the language test and meet the minimum requirement. It's between CLB 4 to 6, so it's not very hard. You need to have at least a Canadian education credential or ECA done for your foreign education credential, and you need to complete the minimum funds requirement to settle in the community. Now before you start jumping into the comments, let's go into the details of each requirement. And when I say details, I really mean it. So hang tight and let's get started. First and foremost, you need to have a job offer from a designated employer in one of the community. Now I'm not talking about the LMIA job offer. I am talking about getting a work in the community which is a full-time and a permanent job with no end dates, and of course it has to be non-seasonal as well. But at the end, you need to get the regular job offer. The requirement is of the job offer. So if you live 20, 30 or even 50 kilometers away but working in the community, you can apply. But of course, it's on the discretion of the community if they want to endorse you or not. Now before you start asking which job counts, listen, any job counts as long as the employer is designated and willing to support you for the RCIP endorsement. All the communities have their own list of priority occupations. Some communities have shared it, some communities have not. So check out the community's website for more information. The link to all the communities is in the description. Now you might ask how to find those designated employers. Where is the list of these designated employers? Understand that there are no such lists revealed. Communities have asked the businesses which are at least 2 years old and in the community to show their interest if they want to participate in the program or not. So instead of trying to find that magic list, try to ask your employer in the community if they are participating or not. You can even ask the employer at the time of interview if they are participating or not before accepting the job offer, because not all the employers might be participating. Most communities, as usual, have jobs in the healthcare, trades, and even essential work occupations as priority at the least. Now, if you are an employer, I'm going to create a detailed instruction video on how to apply for designation. So subscribe if you want to get notified when the video is out. Second requirement is the 1 year or equivalent, which is 1560 hours of work experience needed in the past 3 years. Now, if you know the drill, maximum 30 hours per week is counted for calculation. But there is a huge twist. They have exempted many people from this requirement, which makes things damn easy for some applicants. So hear me out. First, let's understand what counts as the work experience. They have divided the group of tier codes. If you get a job offer from tier 0 or 1, then you need to have the experience in either tier 0, 1, 2 or 3. If you get a job offer of tier 2, then you need to have experience in either 1, 2, 3 or 4. Similarly, if you get a job offer in tier 3 or 4, then you need the experience in either tier 2, 3 or 4. And here is the interesting part, and listen to me very carefully. If your job offer is in tier 5, which is mostly the lowest tier, lowest income job, you need to have the exact same experience in the same tier 5 NOC code for at least 1 year in the past 3 years. And good part is, this experience could be from anywhere in the world and doesn't necessarily have to be in the community. And of course, our beloved healthcare community has further exemption to this as well. If you have experience as a nurse, which is NOC code 31301, and you know its tier code is 1, so you will still be eligible if you get a job as a nurse aide, which is tier 3, or even home support worker, which is tier 4, which basically means PSW. Now, if you are enjoying this video so far, I would really appreciate if you could like this video, as it will help others finding this video as well. Now, that's mostly it for people who are coming from outside Canada or who are in Canada but have never lived in or worked in the community. But if you are still confused, get on a call with me and I'll help you understand. Feel free to reach out. So of course, the story does not end here for the experience. There are further great exemptions for the people who have worked or are currently living and working in the community, and people who have studied in the community as well. So let's explore. You do not need to show any experience at all, and when I said it, I mean it. No experience. If you were an international student in the community, which means you attended a post-secondary college or university for a program of a minimum 2 years of length, okay? Now this is critical. Yes, it's 16 months equals to 2 years, so no 2 1-year courses are not eligible. The length of the one program has to be 2 years or longer. You can confirm with the community if you are not sure. Now make sure that this education credential has to be gained within the last 18 months before you apply for your PR, which means that you will need to consider all the time between now and the time till you get your community endorsement, and literally at the time of filing your PR. The time duration has to be 18 months or less, which is 1.5 years. And lastly, you have to be living at least 16 months in the community of that 2 years of your study duration. Any courses are eligible as long as they are 2-year program, and definitely not the ESL courses where you are literally just studying English as a second language. And also, the institution has to be publicly funded college or the institutions with proper DLI number. Private colleges are not eligible. Now listen to me. This exemption gets even more amazing for master's students from the community. You should basically have completed a master's degree from an institution in the community which took 2 years or less, which means 1-year master's program are also eligible. Yes, 1-year diploma is not eligible, but 1-year master's is eligible. And it has the same requirement of getting the degree within the 18 months of PR application. and definitely you were in the community while studying, no minimum of 16 months etc., but have lived in the community while studying, because even 1 year programs are eligible. Finally, both these exemptions are for students who studied and also lived in the community. So for those who avoided the cold and studied via distance learning, you are not eligible for this exemption, because at least 50% of the course should be attended offline in the community. So for people who have any questions, please watch it through before asking in the comments. Now, the requirement number 3, minimum language scores. You need to give either CELPIP General, IELTS General or PTE Core for English, and TEF or TCF if you want to take French exam instead. The minimum scores are literally minimum, if you know what I'm saying, right? For jobs in tier 0 or 1, you need CLB 6. For jobs in tier 2 or 3, you need CLB 5. And for jobs in tier 4 or 5, you need CLB 4. That's literally 4.5 to 5 bands, I guess. So I can see that the community is really trying their best to find even an average candidate and is ready to give you a PR. Come on guys, move outside those urban jungles. It's beautiful out here. Now let's go into the language requirements. You need to have at least a Canadian high school diploma or postgraduate diploma, degree or certificate from a DLI institution if in Canada, and ECA done if it's from anywhere else in the world. So literally, if you have done your bare minimum in terms of education, you are eligible. And finally, let's talk about the money part. You need to have enough funds available to support your settlement in the community, which also means you and your family. This funds requirement is also the bare minimum compared to any PR programs in Canada. So definitely plan for this if you are coming from outside Canada, and for people in Canada, it's bare minimum. So I'm sure that you can have this much saved in your bank account already. Now that you know the eligibility requirements, let's go through the process of how to apply. So first, of course, you need to make sure you went through the previous section without skipping any details and you made sure that you are eligible. Okay. After that, make sure you get a job offer from the employer. And once you have a valid job offer from the designated employer, they will send your community recommendation application directly to the community for review. This part is critical because communities will check to make sure that your job is in the priority occupation or the occupation and the offer is real, and that you meet all the requirements for this pilot program as I explained in the last section. And then if they decide to recommend you, you will get notified and then you can apply for your permanent residence. No draws, you apply for PR. I estimate that each community will be inviting closer to 500 or more applicants in 2025 for PR, and I will create a separate video on the document requirements for the application of permanent residence. Anyone how to apply step by step, as you know me. But meanwhile, if you want to get into the express entry pool, check out this video.